Last Tuesday on Sydney Harbour, the SOLAS Big Boat Challenge was won by Wild Oats XI, while Chinese Whisper, the JV62, won the handicap honours. Before the start, Perpetual Loyal had a little bit of trouble. Once again, Wild Oats XI skipper Mark Richards put his boat in the right position as far as the start is concerned and ran away from the opposition. It was not the same as last year, as Comanche was missing from the lineup, and the maxis of Perpetual Loyal, Ragamuffin 100 and Rambler 88 were certainly no max for the big girl. Behind the leading pack of maxis was George David's Rambler 88, who at the first mark was right on the stern of Wild Oats XI. Turning south down the harbour, Wild Oats XI put up their code 0 and away it went. Behind Wild Oats there was a battle royal between Ragamuffin 100 and Rambler 88. George David got the best of this encounter as he pushed Ragamuffin up to windward and then broke away and raced towards the next rounding mark at Port Denison. It's good to see maxis behaving like skiffs on Sydney Harbour at maximum speed and luffing each other up. It's a scene we see once a year in the SOLAS race, and we love it. Meanwhile, behind all this action was Rupert Henry's JV62 Chinese Whispers. She was over at the start and had to re-round at the starting line and made up a lot of distance during the race and won it on handicap. This is the boat to watch as far as winning the Hobart race. Another regular performer to watch out for is Peter Harburg's Black Jack. Wild Oats skipper Mark Richards was very pleased with his first outing of his radically redesigned boat. He said looking at her, she is still Wild Oats XI, but then again she's not. The longer bow has given her a more self-contained look, and shifting the whole rig aft has made her faster. But still, this is just around the boys. We'll see what happens on race day. After travelling halfway around the world since leaving on November 22, racing nearly 30,000 kilometres across the Atlantic and Indian Oceans, the two trimarans on a quest to win the Jules Verne Trophy found themselves side by side past New Zealand in the Pacific Ocean.
Il y a IDEC qui est à nos devants, qu'on va peut-être voir. On n'a pas vu depuis le départ, après 5 000 km. Il est en tribord à mur, il vient sur nous. Et on se prépare nous aussi à empanner. On va peut-être faire un petit bout de chemin côte à côte. Et il est là-bas. Ouais, on voit. Ah, il est là, ouais. Il est là. Et il est...
On m'a réveillé pour me dire il y a IDEC. Donc je suis montée là et on l'a aperçu. J'ai mis un moment à arriver à le voir parce qu'avec la brume et le brouillard on voyait pas grand chose. Et après je l'ai vu et c'est bizarre de. C'est sympa en fait. Maintenant on l'a à l'écran, on l'a à la IS, il est juste là. Et c'est plutôt cool. Moi je trouve que c'est plutôt sympa d'être à deux bateaux qu'au lieu d'être tout seul.
C'est sympa déjà de se retrouver à l'autre bout du monde, les deux bateaux côte à côte. C'est encore plus sympa parce qu'on est devant lui, ça c'est bon. Et puis bah maintenant on va retendre l'élastique petit à petit, comme on l'avait fait dans l'océan Atlantique.
His debut event has won the first act.
The young guys did a great job, and I think also our experience was very helpful.
There go the celebrations. It's a win in the final race, and it's a win here on their home waters.
Managed to pull it off in the end, and we love having everyone here watching, but it doesn't half put the pressure on as well.
They are really stringing it together.
They have absolutely proved how much they deserve an act win here in Qingdao.
No, we're so happy. That's the first win, you always remember that one, so fantastic.
Just get that little bit of gust of wind and Red Bull is off.
It is the unstoppable power of Lee McMillan and his team on board the Wave Muscat.
A big nosedive by SAP.
Okay, SAP are over. They have capsized.
Lee McMillan and his team come across the finish line. They don't care where they finish. They've won this regatta.
Every race there's plenty of action, and sailed really well. Everyone kind of fully up for it, and we managed to gain a couple of points on SAP again.
Пропажаловать в Россию. Welcome to Russia.
What a lead they've opened up on the rest of the fleet. Once again, Lee McMillan takes a victory, is a step closer to getting that overall series third win.
There's so much support. We really do feel like we're the home team in the true sense when we're in Istanbul.
Another win, absolutely extraordinary.
Fourth in a row, which has never been done before. The conditions have been incredible. Istanbul's like delivered again.
And here's one over, first capsize. Lino Sonego goes over at the top mark. There's our champions, Lee McMillan and his team. Wonderful victory.
Just been an absolute standout performance by everyone, and keeping it rolling all the way to the end. It's just been a great event.
Well, it's 10 days to Christmas, and have a guess where we are? We're at the sail loft, North Sailton. Here we are once again with Michael Coxon. Coco, last year we went through all the business. Now, what's happening this year?
Well, this year it's it's pretty exciting with the Hobart again. There's a really good contingent coming from overseas, both in smaller boats and larger boats. And I guess the focus with the big boat race on yesterday has been on the bigger boats the last 24 hours. It was pretty impressive to see Wild Oats out there with her new modifications, and certainly they haven't done anything to slow her down. And then there was a very good tussle between Rambler and Ragamuffin and Perpetual Oil. So the only boat missing is Comanche, and she'll probably fill in somewhere in between, I'd imagine. So I think it's going to be an interesting race for line honours. Probably you'd say the favourites are probably Wild Oats and Comanche, but it looks like there'll be a close tussle for the boats in the top 5 positions.
What about on the handicap side? What do you think on the smaller side?
Well, Hobart, I always say Hobart's 50% luck, because the luck is what weather you get to what boat's going to suit. I'd be keeping an eye on Chinese Whispers, Rupert Henry's new boat. He's starting to get it together now, settling his crew down. He's the last 2 races he's sailed in, he's won on IRC, including the big boat race. And I think that's the boat to watch. It'll be interesting which boat Matt Allen goes with. As we all know, that Matt's actually he's entering both his 52-footer and his 60. So he's a gambler. He's going to look at the weather, and the reason is, I said, it's 50% luck, because you've got to look at the weather, and he's in the fortunate position to choose which boat's going to suit the conditions of the race. So I think that if he gets the smaller boat, the 52, that'll be a very, very competitive boat on IRC.
Indeed.
It wouldn't be Christmas without Wild Oats ordering a last-minute sale. And
I think we said this last year.
Yes, we did this last year, and we're pleased to say that only a matter of weeks ago they committed to a new A2. Reason being is with the new configuration of the boat, although the previous the mainsail and the headsails fit. With a longer prod, the spinnaker was too big an alteration to modify their old one. It would have compromised the integrity of the sail. So they made the decision to go for a new one. That sounds simple, but it's all custom material, Cuban fibre, which we manufacture ourselves, and we've got to manufacture the Cuban fibre. It's all made by hand, and that is a long lead time. So we had to ask for pull a few favours, get the Cuban fibre handmade, get it out to here, and as it literally only arrived last week, the material, we've been cutting flat out, and as the panels come off the plotter, they're going straight into production.
Is that in Nevada?
No, the Cuban fibre is made in the States. I think it's on the East Coast of the States, and it's a company that North bought a few years ago, the Cuban factory. And they bought the technology, and we use it both as in spinnaker cloth. We use it for corner reinforcings, for sails. It's a very useful product.
Sure. Now, what about the smaller boats? You've been looking after them. What about the imports?
Well, we're finding a lot of the boats that come to town have got north sails, and as such, they normally need some servicing done. So our service department's been working. Both our new sail manufacturer with Wild Oats Spinnaker and the service department have been working around the clock. And we've got to keep everybody happy, and if a north boat comes to town, we will look after it.
Yeah, that's good. Now, what about getting away from the Hobart race? What else are we doing?
We've all just been focused on that for the time being. It's been a pretty good year with Etchels. We just had the World Championships in Hong Kong, and I'm very pleased to report that the top 10 boats all carry north sails. So that was a result. We were expecting a solid result, which we're blown away the fact that it's all top 10 boats, and that's going into our summer season here. So we've got a pretty big Etchel program happening this summer. The MC38s, they've got their circuit going still, and the Far 40 Worlds are coming up. So there's quite a lot happening in Sydney over the next period.
What about the MC31?
We've got a couple of sets on order for the MC31s. The first boat hasn't been delivered yet or launched, so I think they're going to be a great boat, and they'll fit into that price range below the 38. So that'll be really good for the market to have a more price competitive boat in the market that'll suit, hopefully find a market where people can afford to play the game.
My heart is beating like a drum, burning like the sun. I've only just begun.
We've been out sailing in the Moth the last few weeks in particular. We've got a regatta coming up next week. It's the Bermuda Invitational Moth event, and there's 70 boats coming.
I I think we'll have about 12 or 13 Oracle Team USA doing the regatta, so we're preparing as quickly as we can, but we've been pretty busy sailing with 2 sport boats, so we haven't put heaps of time into the Moth. For those of us who don't steer the big boat, it gives us a chance to steer a foiling boat. And mainly all the concepts are basically the same. I mean, these boats don't have a wing like the AC45 and the AC50 does, but they've got foils, they've got a ride control system, so it's all little things we can learn about.
The Moths are very relevant to the boats that we're sailing, especially as a wing trimmer. It's the exact same feeling as trimming on the AC45. Trimming the mainsail on the Moth, so it's very relevant, and it's also good for me to be able to steer and get a feel for it. So it's really important for all of us, and it keeps us sharp. There's a lot of really good cars coming, and so I think there's going to be pretty stiff competition.
I need this like I've never needed anything before.
We're with Italian sailing legend Giovanni Soldini at the Bermuda Marina here in Sydney. He's ready himself for the Hobart race this year. He's had a big year.
Yeah.
So welcome to Australia, Giovanni. And first off, what happened? Why did you start on this particular leg of your journey in sailing?
Okay, we are here with Maserati for the first time doing the Sydney to Hobart race. Yes, it was a very nice year, and in the last 3 years, I will say, we do it. We had a wonderful time with this boat, and we take part in Cape Torio race. We do plenty of things. We do the record near San Francisco. It was a great experience for me with a great team and a wonderful boat. This boat was the Ericsson 3, and we changed it. We make it better, more light, with longer keel, and we are really happy. And I'm a little bit sad because this will be my last race on this boat, because the boat is for sale, and so we will probably buy another boat with Maserati next year.
Bigger?
No, not bigger. Same size, but probably a multi-hull.
A multi-hull?
Yeah, faster. So, but I really love the boat that I use so much. I spent 3 years wonderful with this boat, and with a fantastic crew, and it was really a nice experience. And I really hope this last race, the Sydney Hobart, will be a nice thing to close this experience.
So what happens after you finish the race? Do you put it on a ship and send it home, or do you sail it? Or
no, we sail back to Brisbane, where we have a base, and we'll see. Probably there is some people who's interested to buy the boat. Maybe an Australian will buy the boat, and otherwise we'll just ship it in Europe.
So tell us about your record attempt between New York and San Francisco. Why did you do it in the first place? And secondly, what's wrong with the Panama Canal?
Record near San Francisco is something come from the legend of sailing, I think. When they discovered the gold in San Francisco, they needed to bring there so many stuff, and the only way really useful was a sailing boat. At the time, the sailing boat, there was ships, like 300-foot ships with 4 masts, 60 people on board, and the history of this record is just wonderful, because the first ship, the ships who own the record is an American clipper that hold the record for 136 years. And many sailors, they tried to beat this record in the last century, and they didn't get it until the last 80s, where Hunter Child with Warren Lewis. And that boat was my dream when I was a teenager. You know? It was the first open boat, really revolutionary. And so then they came the English, then they came the French, Isabelle Autissier with David Adams. They have this record at the time in the 90s. And then Yves Barlier was the last who held this record. And so for me it was a wonderful story. And I'm very proud to have this record with Maserati and with a great crew that I have the honor to navigate with.
So now what about the Hobart race? Now we've had it fairly light in these last couple of years. So,
but you know, Hobart race is a wonderful race. It's very well known in the world. And I think it's a very nice race. Obviously, it's a race that have a part with the Bass Strait, with really dangerous part. Even if I think, you know, in the sea, at sea, the bad day, it's enough. In any place in the world.
It's a bad day at sea, it's a bad day everywhere.
When you speak about Southern Ocean, the bad day is a big day sometimes, you know. So.
ISAF Sailing World Cup in Melbourne. It's probably the sort of our home event really, even though being from sort of Sydney and all that sort of stuff, yeah, it's still good to come here and do some racing in our home waters.
I've been training in Perth quite a last 2 weeks, and for me it was a good way to measure myself, the progress we hopefully made, and it's a good international fleet for our class, so it's a great race.
It also always puts up a bit of a mix with the light shifty stuff, and then you get days like today where it's big winds, big waves, and a bit of survival mode.
A lot of fun. It was a lot of wind, and it was actually really tight racing for how much wind there was. It was good passing on the downwind and a lot of hiking on the upwinds. Today was a totally different ball game. It was windy, it was bumpy, we had breaking waves on us. Half the time I was just trying to stay on the boat, so it's a little bit hectic today, but it's always good fun, and still pushing hard, a few capsizes, but that's part of the game.